All right, welcome all you future certified payroll professionals. In this explainer, we're getting laser focused on a topic you absolutely have to know for your exam, the FLSA's white collar exemptions. Honestly, getting this right is a make or break part of getting certified.
So let's just start with this question right here. You've got to be able to answer this with 100% confidence, not just to pass the test, but for literally every payroll you're going to run in your career.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the basics of overtime, then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the white-collar exemptions and all the tests, and then we'll cap it all off with a practice question. Sound good? Let's do it.
Okay, first things first. We have to start with the foundation, the bedrock of all of this, which is the Fair Labor Standards Act, or as you know it, the FLSA.
Think of the FLSA this way. The default setting for every single employee is that they are eligible for overtime. That's the starting point. Unless you can prove they fit into a very specific exemption, they get time and a half for any hours they work over 40 in a week. So now, let's get to the main event. This is what the exam is really going to grill you on. Those major exceptions to the overtime rule, the ones we call the white-collar exemptions.
And listen up, because this is a classic exam trap. It does not matter one bit if someone's title is Supreme Commander of Office Supplies. If their day-to-day duties and their salary don't meet the strict legal tests, they are not exempt. It's all about what they actually do, not what their business card says.
All right, get your flashcards ready. This is the first number you have to burn into your brain for the exam. $684. That is the current federal minimum salary an employee has to earn per week to even be considered for most of these exemptions. So, how does that salary test actually work in practice? Well, let's plug it into our first two big categories, the executive and administrative exemptions. Both are all about managing the business.
For the executive exemption, think of it as a 4-point checklist, and you can't skip any. They've got to meet the salary. Their main job has to be management. They have to supervise at least 2 full-timers, and they need real power when it comes to hiring and firing. All 4 have to be a yes.
Now, the administrative test is a little different. It's a 3-parter. That salary piece is still there, of course, but notice the big difference. The focus is on office work related to business operations, and, this is key, using independent judgment on things that actually matter. It's a whole different flavor from the executive test.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the folks with specialized skills. This is where we get into the professional exemptions and the rules for highly skilled computer employees.
Now, you can bet the CPP exam will want you to know the difference between these two types of professionals. You've got your learned professionals, think doctors, lawyers, accountants, roles that need that advanced degree. Then you have your creative professionals, artists, writers, musicians, where it's all about talent and originality. Two very different paths.
Okay, put a big star next to this one in your notes. The computer employee exemption is a special case. And you know what that means? It's perfect material for an exam question. Why? Because it's the one that allows for an hourly pay basis. As long as they're making at least $27.63 an hour and doing that high-level computer work, they can be exempt. You have to remember that dual pay option.
Okay, let's wrap this section up with a few other important groups. We'll hit outside sales, highly compensated employees, and just as important, we'll talk about who can never be exempt. The outside sales exemption is the biggest outlier of the bunch. Why? Because there is no salary test. None. Zero. It is based completely on these two duties. Their main job is selling stuff, and they do it away from the office. That's it. Don't let an exam question trick you into thinking salary matters here. It doesn't.
And here we go, another number for the memory banks. $107,432. That is the total annual compensation needed to qualify for the highly compensated employee or HCE exemption.
Think of the HCE exemption as a kind of fast track. If an employee is earning those big bucks over that number we just saw, the duties test gets way simpler. They don't need to meet the full test for another category. They just have to perform at least one of the exempt duties of an executive, admin, or professional employee. It's a much lower bar to clear on the duty side. Now this is a hard and fast rule, a direct quote from the Department of Labor. Blue-collar workers, people who do manual labor, are always eligible for overtime. It doesn't matter if you pay them $100 an hour. The exemption just doesn't apply. So to be crystal clear for your exam, this means first responders, police, firefighters, paramedics, and skilled trade workers, carpenters, electricians, mechanics. They are never exempt under these rules. They are non-exempt. Period.
End of story.
All right, theory time is over. You've got the rules, you've got the numbers. Let's see if you can put it all together with a question that's structured just like one you'd see on The Real Deal.
Okay, here's the scenario. You've got an operations lead making $950 a week. Her main job is supervising 2 full-time clerks, and she can approve their time off and recommend them for promotions. So, is she exempt? Take a look at the options. Go ahead and pause here if you need a minute to think it through and apply those tests.
Got your answer locked in? All right, let's see how you did. The correct answer is C. She is exempt under the executive exemption. Now let's talk about why.
So, why is C right? Let's just run down that 4-part executive checklist we talked about. Is her salary over $684 a week? Yep, $950. Check. Is her primary duty management? Yes, supervising clerks. Check. Does she direct the work of 2 or more full-time employees? Yes, exactly 2. Check. And does she have authority over them? Yep, her recommendations carry weight. Check. She hits all 4 points. It's a textbook executive exemption.
So, the big takeaway I want to leave you with is this. Everything we just talked about is the federal minimum. It's the floor. As a certified payroll professional, you also have to be an expert on your state and local laws, which can be even tougher, with higher salary levels or stricter duty tests. And remember, your job is always to apply the rule that's most generous to the employee. All right, good luck with your studies.